Yo, welcome to the Birdman Show. Let's dive deep. Murder mysteries and tales that make you lose sleep. We re-uncover in the darkness the stories we'll keep. Laughing about the silliness while we leap and we sweep.
Here's to mental health, let's break the chains. Friends talking it out, we got no shame. On the Birdman Show, let the truth unfold. Mysteries and madness, stories bold. From silly to serious, every episode's gold. Together we rise, let the secrets be told.
From the worst of the worst, we re-shining some light. Unraveling the tales of crime in the night. Crack a smile with the stories, take flight in the fight. Relationships and wisdom, we keep the vibe right.
Bring your laughter, share your pain.
In this journey together we re-breaking the grave.
On the Birdman Show, let the truth unfold. Mysteries and madness, stories bold. From silly to serious, every episode's gold. Together we rise, let the secrets be told. So tune in with us, take a seat. The Birdman Show's where the real ones meet.
Yo, welcome to the Birdman Show. Let's dive deep. Murder mysteries and tales that make you lose sleep. We re-uncover in the darkness the stories we'll keep. Laughing about the silliness while we leap and we sweep.
Here's to mental health, let's break the chains. Friends talking it out, we got no shame. On the Birdman Show, let the truth unfold. Mysteries and madness, stories bold. From silly to serious, every episode's gold. Together we rise, let the secrets be told.
From the worst of the worst, we re-shining some light. Unraveling the tales of crime in the night. Crack a smile with the stories, take flight in the fight. Relationships and wisdom, we keep the vibe right.
Bring your laughter, share your pain.
In this journey together we re-breaking the grave.
On the Birdman Show, let the truth unfold.
What is up, everybody? How you doing? It's your boy, the Birdman from the Birdman Show. We back for another conspiracy theory episode. And this one's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen with this one. I don't know, because there's so many different theories when it comes to this topic that I just don't know what's going to happen. We have Miss D that's coming in and out. I think she's having some problems with the connection, but we'll hopefully get her back in. But I am joined by my boy Monty, aka Makes Valor, in the house. I gotta say what's up to him. What's going on, brother? How we doing? Or you're muted.
Oh, that's me. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm wonderful. Yeah, I'm back at it again, ready to be a part of some more unfiltered nonsense.
Yeah, there you go. That's how we do. I think I'm hearing. There she is. There she is. Okay, there she is. Having some problem with connection there.
Some lag.
Okay. I mean, it happens sometimes. I mean, I'm sorry. It is what it is. We're definitely gonna roll through it. But hey, how are you doing though?
Okay, but I'm okay.
That's good. That's good. How's Bambi?
How are you guys tonight? She sent me a list of all her appointments that we've got coming up.
Okay. All right. Still no baby though, right?
No. She's still too early, so hopefully we're gonna cook for another 2-3 weeks.
Okay. All right. As long as she's healthy, as long as the baby's healthy, that's all I care about. Nothing else matters. As long as her and the baby's healthy, that's all that matters. So that's awesome. Glad she's doing okay. For the time being. So yes. Yeah. So people's first of all, we gotta say, Ms. D, you have a way to track TikTok?
I am in the chat room. I can.
Okay, awesome. I'll have you keep track of TikTok. I'll keep track of YouTube, Rumble, and what do I have? Anyways, I'll have you keep track of that. Gotta say, what's up, Sally? Now, which one's Sally?
Sally is Bambi.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, that's why I wanted to make sure. Oh, that you're welcome, sweetie. Come on now, you're my niece. You know I'm gonna take care of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna look after you, baby girl. You was now part of the family. Your moms, Jeff, the family's invited to the cookouts. No matter where I'm at, if I have a cookout, you're invited. All right. So you're good to go. So don't even worry about it, baby girl. Don't even worry about it. Like I said, as long as you and baby are okay, I'm okay. And hopefully that makes mom okay too. So that's all that matters. But yes, woo, we got a banger that we're doing today. And the crazy thing about this is that no matter how you try to slice it or dice this one, there are so many different conspiracy. Oh, you know what? You're right, Monty. You're 100% right. I got so excited about the episode that I didn't even. Wow. Thanks, Monty. Thanks, man. Ace looking out for me. You are 100% right, sir. Yo, this is the Birdman show. I'm the Birdman. You guys already know what to do, so why don't you go ahead and do it with us? That is right. Like I said, I'm so sorry. Like I got so excited about the show, I completely forgot about my whole call, my whole stick, and everything going on. Anyways, okay. You know what I just did? I just realized something. I created the title for this, but I didn't say what the heck we're talking about. I didn't. Oh my god. Anyways, we're talking about everybody's princess, man. Princess Diana. Now I'm pretty sure everybody's pretty familiar with this story. Mace, I'm gonna start with you. When this story broke, first of all, can you remember what you were doing around that time?
Most likely shitting in a diaper. No, but for real, I was young because I that was probably around the era of my life where I couldn't help but notice the news. Around that point, I can't remember exact dates, but you had things like Kurt Cobain. You had things
Yes.
like O.J. Simpson. Like these were things that kept my parents glued to the television.
And
So
leave Uncle OJ out of it, okay?
yeah. So when Princess Diana died, that was a huge media frenzy because she touched so many hearts all over the world, not just in Great Britain, but also expanded over to America. For the most part, in America, we don't care about the royal family, but Princess Diana like held that role with such grace and love that it made people, even us Yankees, kind of forget about our disdain for the crown and appreciate her as a person. So even as a young kid, I saw the effect it had on my mom, who loved all that tabloid shit. But yeah, I definitely remember it being a thing, even if at the time I really didn't understand the weight of it.
I agree. I like that. Ms. D, how about you?
I was in high school when she passed. I was born the year that she got married to Prince Charles.
Princess Charles.
So well, but so I wouldn't say that I was fascinated with the whole thing from the beginning, because I mean, it was the wedding to be watched was what kind of put her into the spotlight. But I mean, I grew up with her controversies. I'm not going to call them conspiracies, but a lot of controversies along the way. I grew up knowing about them because, it was during my early teenage years. So of course I was, at least curious about it.
Right. Now, for me, I didn't really pay attention to a lot of it until her unfortunate death. Really didn't pay that much attention to it. There was one thing that I will forever remember her for, though. And that was you guys remember when she had the race? I think it was like, was it 40-meter dash? Yeah, that I remember like, yo, this is somebody that's wearing the like part of the royal family and she's doing this. Like, she's actually kind of cool. Like, I'm like that's cool because that's not something you see. And I agree with Mace 100%. With the simple fact was that she was a different type of royalty because she could connect with anybody on any level. And that's I think what made her so special, the causes that she fought for, the different things that she just was not the regular type of royalty. And I think that's what made her so relatable. And so it was definitely a tragic thing that happened. And I remember so many people that were just devastated. I'm talking about people in America like that were devastated about what happened. And I'm like, man, wow, she wasn't even from here. And we're treating her like as if she was like I don't know, like a beloved president that passed away. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just crazy that was how much of an attraction she was to everyone, and it's just because that was just her personality. She had a very infectious personality. Her smile was unbelievable, and the fact that she was gorgeous too, um, really helped. But it wasn't even her beauty that really got you. It was just her personality. And I just like like I said, she was a really cool figure, and a really cool person. Just from the interviews I've seen, different things that she's done, it was just really cool. And it's another one of those things where we get people like that to get taken out of the world. We got people that probably, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave that alone. Anyways, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about conspiracy theories, the People's Princess accident or assassination. Dun 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 dun. Um, that's what we're talking about tonight. Okay, so let's get to it. First, I got to acknowledge everybody on TikTok. Thank you so very much. We're at 1.6K already. Let's keep it going. Keep the love going. We got some love going over here over on Rumble, and definitely got the love going over here. Your mom's back. Hey, what's up? How we doing? I see Karen over there. All right, that's what's up. Love you guys. Thank you guys so very much for joining. I really appreciate it. Why is this not? Oh boy, I'm gonna have to check that out because my comments are not showing all the way up in the studio. Okay, I'll check that out. We'll be fine. Anyways, okay, so let's get this bad boy started. All right. Now, Misty, let's start with you. Okay. So, kind of give us a little background on Princess Diana. And everything going before we're gonna try to walk backwards and then kind of come forward with everything that's going on. So, can you walk us through kind of a little bit what's going on with her during this? Definitely before the whole incident.
I mean, I can give you a brief synopsis, kind of. So, born into noble blood. Her father was an archduke, I want to say. So the whole thing with Diana, Charles was actually Diana's older sister. There's a 12-year gap between Diana and Charles. She was 16 when they actually met in the library of the Spencer home. And she was more the aesthetic that the crown wanted for Charles versus her sister. So that's why things kind of got pushed the way they did. She was 18 when they got married in 1981. She might have been 19. But anyway, in 81, they got married. It was the wedding to be watched. They broke some protocols. The stuff like that you hadn't seen, from the monarchy before. So the public kind of fell in love with her because she was shy and quiet, but um, intriguing enough that people wanted to know more. Philanthropist. She was the head of, I think, at peak, over 100 different charities, um, mainly dealing with landmine removal in a lot of your African countries. She did AIDS research. She was one of the first royals to break protocol. She was on TV hugging a child with AIDS to prove that you're not going to get it by casual contact. She held the hand of people suffering with leprosy.
Mm-hmm.
So she pushed the envelope past what the monarch looked at as acceptable, and people saw her as a real person, not just a dignitary of types. And funny enough, I was reading that she also had quite a few meetings with Nelson Mandela.
Oh, always comes back to the Mandela effect.
It's that 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon thing.
God bless America. That's yeah. I mean, that's crazy though. I mean,
but
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
um, but I mean, just there were so many things that led up to her passing, and because this was really that people really got a glimpse in royal life, that I think it bred controversies and conspiracy theories. It's difficult to tell what was correct versus what was fabrication.
Mm, yeah. And by the way, Bambi, you didn't have to change your name. I mean, I understand now you're Sal. I know Sally's you. I just didn't. I didn't know. I always known you as Bambi. Um, you know. So, but I mean, I appreciate it, and I'm glad you got Chris and the kiddos watching. Yeah, let's go. Let's rock it. So okay, so Mace, what do you have to add to that? As far as that, because I've seen you threw some comments there over on the YouTube
Yeah.
channel. So what else do you have to add to that?
So we know that publicly she was very against the grain of what the establishment had as their foundation, and the royal families, they're very by code. We do every little thing in a very particular way, from their morning schedules to how they eat. Everything that they do, every waking moment of their lives, is essentially very ritualistic. Um, we'll touch more on that as time goes on, but she was necessary because of her blood. So it wasn't like they really had any other choice. They needed that very particular bloodline to kind of keep on doing the things that the royalties do. And goes to the entire history of civilized Europe. That's why Europe has always been so chaotic, because at the end of the day, it's like a Hell in a Troy situation where every country's root problem comes from their establishment, with different marrying bloodlines and whatnot, and intermingling. Like take this daughter, here's some sons, blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it's always reliant upon the woman, and this more discussions as we continue on. So she was like beyond necessary. They absolutely needed her within the establishment, but her just being more human, more against the grain of what the establishment had grew itself to be, she became problematic. And so it's things like that, of her showing that level of humanity from a position and titles that she just had by birth, that was kind of a problem for them.
See, and that's what, man. I just, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do that.
No, do it. That's the
Nah.
whole point of us being here. Just go nuts.
Well, my thing is like, how we're looking at we're talking about this case, okay? I mean, this story, however you want to slice, dice it, whatever. But how often have we seen this in across multiple areas of the world where there's been somebody like that, and then like you just said, because of their personality, they were so problematic that, I mean, now we come to these conspiracy theories. Okay, was it an accident or was it an assassination? I mean, if we talk about our own history, we can talk about Martin Luther King, we can talk about JFK, Robert Kennedy, we can talk about who's a couple other ones been assassinated.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. There you go.
Malcolm X is a very tragic one because, yeah, the Black Panthers, like you could argue that there was a narrative and push of violence within the organization, but that's all traced back to the feds. They had feds that introduced themselves into that community. They were the ones that decide, hey, we need a stockpile of weapons and stuff. They do anything they can to ingrain themselves into something that's anti-establishment, and then basically set it up as a cause for failure.
Yeah, like it's just crazy to me, because I don't care who you are, what you think. Nothing that happens, let's say right now today. Okay, this is what November 17th, 2025, right? Okay, November 17th, 2025. It's 6:20 p.m. Central Time here. It's what 4:20 your time, Monty.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. We're in this present time. The stuff that goes on here is the same stuff. A lot of the same stuff that's been going on for years, decades. They've gotten either better at it or they just redressed it. And, they've repurposed the icing and giving you the same old cake, just with the new piece of icing on it. Nothing is different. And a lot of the stuff that's going on, and we're gonna get to it at some point in time. I'm waiting for more information to come out, but we're gonna get into the Charlie Kirk assassination. A lot of that stuff, like when you look at that, still is not anything different than what's happened before. Like we just mentioned, JFK, Robert Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. None of that stuff is different. You can even throw Marilyn Monroe in there because of the type of people she was hanging out with and what she was doing.
You can even throw in Abraham Lincoln. There's one universal thing that all of the people that you just named, one universal thing that they're all connected to.
Oh boy.
And that is they fucked with the establishment's money.
You know what? I can even take it back to the Titanic. Yeah. I brought this up in another episode, but I didn't want to really touch on it because I wanted to save it for something like this. There's a lot of things that people don't realize, especially when it comes to our modern banking system now, that it actually never would have been in place if there's 3 key people that were never been on that ship. But we'll get into that. We're gonna do a whole episode on Titanic. We will. Don't worry about it. Oh, don't worry. There's so much. So much. Anyways, let's kind of keep this moving, okay? Okay, so here's what I'll say. All right, this is understand something, people. Please understand something. This is us just talking, having a conversation. All right, these are conspiracy theories. Okay, a lot of stuff we might talk about have never been proven. There might be some things that have been proven, and it's been talked, but we'll talk about it. Okay, so these are our opinions. These are 3 people who mistakenly they gave this person a platform to be able to talk, and that's always dangerous. That is always dangerous. And what I do, I bring even more dangerous people with me. So buckle up, Buttercup, because it's about to get it. We're about to get real. Okay. Oh my God. All right. Okay. So, Miss D, I'm asking this question. Okay. So, let me ask you this question. I'm just gonna do it like this. where would you like to actually start?
Why don't we start with the base platform of her passing? Because that's where 90% of the conspiracy theories within Princess Diana lies. It's in her passing versus, I mean, timeline to happened into that. So at this point, she already divorced. She's separating herself from the self. I mean, she'll always be part of it because she is a Spencer. So regardless if she's divorced from Charles or not, she's still of that bloodline. Plus she had her children. At this point, she was dating Dodi Fayette.
He was Muslim, right?
And he were at the Ritz Hotel. They had called for a vehicle to come and bring them to Dodi's apartment. The paparazzi place. They, according to Mohammed Fayette, which is Dodi's father, they called for a decoy car to come around to the front of the building, and then they went out the back of the building. Supposedly, their driver was intoxicated. The paparazzi caught on and were racing them into. Now, mind you, they were also in France. That by the paparazzi lost control. There's a couple theories of how the car lost control, and then the accident happened. Those are the basics that have been pretty well. Then we get into the theories of why. Was it a setup? Was it just a series of unfortunate events? I don't know. I think a lot of it is a series of unfortunate events, because trying to mastermind a complete car accidents as a form of assassination are necessarily, they're not foolproof.
No.
People survive car accidents every day.
Yeah.
So to use that as a form of assassination, for me, doesn't make sense. Do I think there were plots? Of course. But I don't think it was for that in time. I think it's just the timeline worked out in the royals' favor.
Yeah, when you're saying, looking at it as, car accidents, people survive that all the time. Hey, all you gotta do is ask Tony Stark. Okay, his parents survived. Winter Soldier came in and cleaned them up. Anyways, I'm sorry I had to throw that in there. Anyways, no, I mean I agree. And I get they're in France, and I don't think there is a drinking age there. There's no drinking limit there. I think kids come out of the womb with a bottle, and they get like a bottle of wine when they come out, and they're in the nursery. But anyways, I think there's a lot that just is. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. And like I said, I know we talked about it, we mentioned it. I think Monty was the one who mentioned it earlier. But like the premise of the royal family, especially around Prince Philip and the institution as a whole, view Diana as external threat, just because of who she was. And she was not trying to fall in line with what they were talking about, what they were doing, what they were about. She didn't. I mean, she didn't care. She cared about people. And I think her view, and I'm not saying, I'm just saying that it just on the outside looking in, her thing was like, look, we've got so much. Why are we not giving back? And I just feel like that, that's how she kind of carried herself. Like that woman genuinely cared about everybody she was trying to fight for, all the causes she generally cared. And it's one of those things that's so sad to me. It's like you don't really see that a lot. And I don't understand it. Like we talk about, I'm trying not to get off topic here. When we talk about what's going on here in America, we got billionaires. We got somebody that's almost a trillionaire. And we still have starving people in this country. Like if you sit there and say, hey, if every billionaire and every millionaire did 5%, let's say they did 5% of their wealth, and every last one of the billionaires and millionaires put 5% of their wealth into a pot and say, hey, this is for the American people. Let's take care of the American people. Would you two or anybody else in the comments or anything, would you disagree to say that I think all the issues that we were having in America right now would be solved? I'm just talking about 5%.
No, I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I still, unfortunately, I don't agree. And here's why.
Okay.
I typically keep my politics very separate. My politics are not usually on display, and I'll probably find a bunch of people that don't like me out of this comment.
Mm-mm.
For people who have established and have maintained wealth, it is not necessarily their job to help other people. We live in a country that, everybody has an equal opportunity.
Okay.
Things aren't necessarily equal, but our opportunities, no matter what, we all have the same opportunities. Just because, all right now, my husband is the only person really working because I'm not
Okay.
working at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We live with my parents because I take care of my parents, but I also have a child at home. I'm taking care of my child, my parents, trying to take care of my husband's needs. We struggle day to day. But those were choices that we made in the way we invested, in the way we didn't invest. We had every opportunity to further our education. I mean, Jeff holds 3 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
He's a truck
I remember
driver.
talking about that.
It was a choice that
Yeah.
he made. Okay. He served 20 years in the military. But to sit there and say, you're a millionaire and my family makes less than $100,000 a year, you need to give me some of your money. That's where I don't see, if we're going to tax people, including wealthy, I think it should be a flat tax. Does not matter if you pay $1 million, doesn't matter if you pay, doesn't matter if you pay $5.
All right.
You pay a flat tax on what you make, regardless. Forget about all these tax breaks for this, that, and the next. That's where it becomes nitpicky, and that's when you also have issues with entitlement. Or what about the ones that, the system?
Yeah.
I've seen,
Yeah.
back in the 80s and 90s, my kid's about to age out of being able to receive help. Time for another baby.
Yeah.
And there weren't caps on that. So I think, because I grew up very poor and then into like the median level and then back down to very poor, I see things very differently. But I don't think that somebody, just because they have more than me, should give me to put me on an equal playing field. I need to
Right.
pick up my game to get to that playing field. So that's why I don't agree with that.
I don't disagree with your standpoint. I don't. But where I do say there's an issue with it is because when you look at other countries that do actually do that, look at the country like Japan. A lot of the corporations give back into Japan because they realize we can't make the money we're making if they are struggling so much to where they can't pay normal stuff, they can't buy our products. So their mindset is take care of the country. The country's going to take care of us. So that's where my difference of opinion comes into is because the corporations don't care about the people. They don't. And the corporations are buying into the politicians who are changing policies that favors them and it doesn't favor the people. When you have people that are struggling like that, something has to change. Something has to give. Like I'm not gonna sit there and say because I that part I didn't do all the research on, and I have some research, but I don't have it here. I don't have it like in front of me, so I'm not gonna sit there and try to go by it on memory. But we're one of the few countries, especially like a power that's supposed to be like a country of power, that doesn't have universal health care when it comes to a lot of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think is what bothers me the most is that I look at Dez's mom. She had some medications that were almost $800 and some dollars, but because there were some other programs that she can get a part of, that came down to like maybe $20 some dollars, maybe $15 some dollars. I can't remember how much she ended up paying. But I look at myself. If it wasn't for the fact that I was in the military, the medications I'm taking, I could not afford, which means I don't know what would happen to my quality of life if I did not have the VA taking care of my medications. And I'm thinking about that for myself, and I'm like, what about everybody else that didn't have this? When I'm thinking about the millions of veterans, you know what I'm saying? It might not be millions, maybe a couple 100,000. I don't know how. I don't know the numbers offhand that are homeless. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you want to about like other people, but you're talking about people who put their lives on the line for the country to fight so that all these people, these corporations, these billionaires can live in their big mansions and do what they want to do with what they're doing, but yet and still they're homeless. They can't get a job because they can't afford the medication or they can't afford the other stuff that needs to be done to actually be able to do what they need to do. Because you know what? Even though they're doing okay for me, the VA is not doing so well for everybody. I've got brothers and sisters that served that are struggling because they still can't. They're fighting to get their rating to a certain percentage so that they can actually live. I take that back. Not live, survive. And when you're in survival mode 24/7, especially, and I'm talking about veterans right now. You're in survival mode 24/7, you coming back from being over there and being in survival mode, that's a very dangerous thing. So, like I said, like I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you because I don't think it's anybody's job to if I acquire this amount of wealth, I don't think it's my job to sit there and take care of somebody else. No, I don't think that. However, if my livelihood does kind of depend on those kind of people, I would say 5% of what I'm making, if I'm making $5 billion a year, 5% of that is not really that much when it comes to that. And you're talking about all the billionaires that are in this country, or the ones that are not in this country, but they're profiting off of us. You think about them and you're saying, hey, if you're saying 5, hell, I'll even bring it back 3%. I'll even back it down to 3%. 3% of whatever billionaires and millionaires are making, you're going to tell me that that's not going to take care of what everything needs to be taken care of here, that maybe we can stop at least the hunger part, if not the homeless part, at least the hunger part, to where families are not struggling or having to be as a gas pump and saying, dang, I only got this amount of money, but I still got to go to work, I still got to take the kids here, I still got to do this, man, I can only put X amount of dollars in the gas tank, and I can only put X amount of money towards groceries. or I can only do this or this and that. I get it. Life is life. I hear what you're saying with the choices and everything. Because listen, I've made some choices and I regretted a lot of those choices because I made some bad choices. I made choices that were based on just pride. I made choices that were based on the fact that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do without you because I've had people in my life that they would only help me out with things with conditions, stipulations. No, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm you know what? If I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it on my own. And I've made those type of decisions. I get that. And life happens sometimes. Whatever job you're working for, guess what? They decide to downsize or whatever. You lose your job or you have to do. Life is life. There's nothing you're gonna be able to do. There's nothing you're gonna be able to do when it comes to that. You can do all things right, everything right. You talked about Jeff. He got 3 degrees. He's a truck driver, right? Now I don't know what the decision behind that or everything. I don't know if it was because whatever. But the fact is, there's a lot of people I know that have degrees that are not working in any field they went to school for because of what happened with their jobs or what happened with the economy and stuff like that. And it sucks. I hate it because there's really, and honestly, there's no real good answer. You know what I'm saying? There's really no good answer to fix it because as a country, we made so many bad decisions over the decades that has gotten us to this kind of point. And it sucks. Like it really sucks because what do I tell my kids? Like they're trying to go to school. They try, they're like, well, what am I gonna do when I get out of school, Dad? I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna do because opportunities, yeah, they're there, but they're not equal. Opportunities are not equal at all. You can have what I'm saying, if your family has money, your opportunities are a lot better than somebody else who doesn't. You may have the same opportunities, but guess what? The journey to get to that opportunity is way different than somebody else's. So I mean that happens, and I think that's the dumbest thing in the world. Because if you're gonna give people opportunities, give people opportunities. Make sure it's equal. That's all I'm asking. Just make sure it's equal. If it's equal, cool. If you didn't take advantage of the opportunity, that's your fault. 100%. I'll tell you real quick. Nah, bro, that's your fault. Sorry, sis, that was your fault. You had the opportunity, you didn't take it. So you can't get mad at that person for getting the opportunity because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You just miss me with that stuff. Miss me with that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Man, we got so off topic.
No, I want to very quickly. I want to throw my hat in the ring on.
I can attend Harvard. That's the thing. It's like I can attend. Computer is.
No, go ahead and finish. I'll wait.
No, yeah. No, it's all good.
There you go. I think I'm back. Go ahead. I think I'm all set now.
Yeah. You said you can attend Harvard?
Oh, yeah. So as a Harvard legacy, I can attend Harvard for free. I won't because I don't have the educational background that I would be taking up a seat for somebody who deserves it. I'm not Harvard material. I'm not going to take that opportunity from somebody, he said, simply because my great-great-great-grandfather was one of the founders and owned the land that Harvard was built on.
But you know what you just said though, Ms. D, and I'm gonna quickly go over to Mace. What you just said, unfortunately, that's not the majority of people in America that are in that situation. Unfortunately, because you've been raised differently. You have a different moral compass than a lot of people that are in that situation. A lot of people in that situation will 100% take advantage of that situation. They don't care about the next person. You see on social media the freaking privilege. And I'm not even talking about white privilege. I'm just talking about people who have money privilege. I've seen black people act that way. I've seen white people act that way. I've seen Hispanics act that way when they have money. I've seen Asians act that way here in America when they have money. It doesn't matter your race. If you have money, you think you are in a different type of category than everybody else. So that you, Ms. D, are 100% an outliner. You're the exception to the rule. Why? Because you are a different type of person. You're actually a person that actually cares about other people. I see it. I know you ain't had to tell me. I see it. I see it when you talk to your kids. I see it when you deal with Jeff. I see it. I see it all the time. I see it I see it whenever we have conversations. You are a different type of person. So this type of stuff, when it comes to that, doesn't bother me when it comes to you. You know what I'm saying? It's the other ones that are actually the ones that are making these decisions, the ones that are actually putting these people in these situations. Because you're a legacy, right? Harvard, right? How many other legacies you think are out there? How many other legacies you think that they're
Harvard's
teaching their
the
kids?
only Ivy League school that still does legacy.
What I'm saying is, when you talk about Harvard, but how many of those other families that might be legacies are teaching their kids the same thing? You know what I'm saying? So even though you're like that, and I 100% applaud you for that, and I can see that in your children, I see that in baby big time. You know what I'm saying? Even though you're like that and you're teaching them that, hey, you got to work. You got to work if you want to earn your opportunity. You better work. Work the tail off. Show them that you deserve it. Not everybody's doing that, and I hate that. You know what I'm saying? Mace, hit us.
Okay, so I'm going to throw my hat into this particular angle of the conversation, but by the end of it, it will tie right back into the Princess Diana thing. So we are not off the cusp. So all right. So first off, I think it's funny that we're talking about money because let's be real, it's all monopoly money. It's all imaginary. Okay. It's a man-made human system that is for exchanging goods and services, right? But when we look at money, what is it actually? In relation to how we use it, right? So money is a representation of a percentage of power within the world. The more money that you have, essentially, the more power you can leverage. And what we do is we use money and we exchange it for goods, services, etc. So what the powers that be and what everyone in the world does is money, currency, is just an exchange of consent. All right. So let's look at our government, right? We have a representative government. One way that we try to do good in the world is with our voice, is with our vote. So we vote for people to hold office. By voting for those people into office, we are then handing them our consent to represent us on the larger stage of the country. And so where the money ties into this is when you have corporations that can lobby their leveraging power into Congress through money, like, hey, I'm going to donate this to your super PAC. Just make sure that, you vote in line with legislation that benefits me because it will in turn benefit you. And then by being within those positions of power, there's a tremendous amount of insider trading that goes on. You can look at organizations like AIPAC and how it's just a giant siphon. We take U.S. tax dollars and we send it overseas as U.S. aid over to Israel. They then send that money back to AIPAC, which is a foreign lobby that then takes that money that was originally taxpayer money sent to Israel, sent back to this organization. They then lobby individual members of Congress and Senate to, hey, vote in line with our whims and our wishes and our needs. Look at the people that aren't a part of AIPAC, that don't take donations from AIPAC. I have a lot of opinions on Marjorie Taylor Greene. I do think that she's kind of batshit, but at the same time, though, she's a target for the establishment. Why? Yeah. And she's an old school MAGA red woman, right? Yeah. But why is she a target? Because she's not in line with the whole AIPAC thing. She hasn't taken any AIPAC money.
Yeah.
So it's very easy. It's like, hey, she's not getting on board. She's not offering her consent. Her role is taking the consent of her constituents and then placing that vote, but they're not able to leverage their power. So because they can't, that individual becomes a target, and then now she's being pulled through the ringer because she's not falling in line with the given narrative that the administration and the lobbying groups that back the current administration and the foreign governments that, have a particular line of things that they want to have happen. So this is something that happens all the time.
I see where you're going.
If you have the consent of the people, corporations want to leverage that consent so that legislation is essentially put into stone, put into law that allows these corporations to then, increase the amount of purchasing power that they have, the amount of, percentage of power, the money that they have, which they can use to leverage even more consent from the will of the people. So that's kind of the true like relationship we have with money. When I get money, I can use it for goods, services, entertainment. I can use it for survival, like my base necessities. So every time I spend money, I'm taking a position of a small percentage of the power that I have and letting it go for one reason or another. And for most people, we need it for survival. And then once our survival needs are met, in the economic climate that we live in America, there's not a tremendous amount of room for forward momentum. A lot of people kind of, get stuck into jobs and roles where, hey, this is kind of be my life for a long time. There's not like, sure, there might be other opportunities out there, but that's got an asterisk next to it because everyone else is going to look at it exactly the same. So if you're in like, let's look at like any type of role, for example, any type of job, look at IT. IT is blowing up because we live in a technological era and a lot of it's being weighted towards AI. Well, what are companies doing is that by wanting to save money, they're getting rid of mid-level managers. They're getting rid of people that are engineers that are very knowledgeable about this stuff, but because they've been doing it so long, the amount of like they're too well educated, they're too experienced for the roles. So the companies get rid of them. They hire in cheap labor. A lot of it is H-1Bs, which they can leverage for even more cheaply because like, hey, well, you're not even a citizen of this country. You're here in an H-1B visa. So we're going to pay you substantially less than we would pay an American. So pretty much everyone, the American person loses. The immigrant that comes over here hoping for a better life comparatively, it sucks. Like you think like, oh, well, they're taking our jobs. So yeah, that's not a lie, but it's not that person's intention. It's just the intention of the system because that's how the system can make more money. Get rid of Americans that are experienced in the role. They've had a long time in history with the job experience. Get rid of them because they're way too expensive to have. Let's get foreigners to come in, take up the jobs. We'll pay them substantially less because comparatively, it's far more than they would be making back home. So yeah, so the company wins, but everyone else attached to it loses. And that all comes down to how they're leveraging their power. And the real problem is that we're sitting here like arguing back and forth about like, well, this person should pay this person should pay that. At the end of the day, to a degree, both sides are right, but they're missing the glaring problem is the fucking system itself. The system itself is completely broken because it relies on people like us going back and forth on the semantics, arguing the details without ever actually looking at the system itself and how it is designed. And at the end of the day, it's all BS. It's all imaginary. Money is like money only has any kind of value because people say that it does. Yeah. I was what was it? What was her name? Megan something. It was this expert on real estate, and I was watching a thing about her talking about her Substack. Long story short, without going into the whole hour-long thing that she discussed, we're essentially in a interesting 2028 bubble, just like the housing crisis from before, but it's in a very different way. And it's scary. I'm fine. I'm not too concerned about it for myself, but I'm concerned about it for the country. Because if you look at it, they say that there's this housing crisis. Is there really one? Because we have far more inventory than we do people. But we allow corporations to buy up entire neighborhoods. We have people that have multiple houses, and because of the rate cuts and then trying to stimulate the economy, especially during COVID times, people just went wild. And it was just like 2005 to 2007 when it was just buying. And a lot of it was because of really shady loans. The shady loans things are still happening today, but instead of being put into mortgage-backed securities that are just doomed to fall, the government has been purchasing a lot of those loans. So FHA loans, which are usually for first-time home buyers, those are being utilized by corporations. They're being utilized by people that don't even live in these houses and rent them out as Airbnbs. And they take out mortgages to go buy more houses. Well, the Airbnb market's crap. The economy sucks. And so now a lot of people for like the past year, like I like my mom, for example, has properties of that effect, and she's feeling no one wants to rent her stuff. And it's like, well, damn, no wonder. No, who's going to pay that astronomical amount of money? And it makes sense because take a look at both sides. I get that these people that invest in these things because they see that as like their road to passive income where they never have to work again. But they have to price things a certain way because they have to make a profit on top of covering the debt that they have on these properties in the first place. So once again, instead of us just bickering about like, well, what's fair and what's not, let's look at the bigger system. Why was this shit allowed to happen in the first place? And it's just because of greed. I mean, COVID really like shook things up, and election cycles and whatever. So what happens when the economy's down and election cycles coming up? They cut rates. They do a lot of weird stuff to kind of make the economy look like it's doing better than it is. But is it really? Yeah, the stock market is going bananas and like, oh wow, the stock market's great. It's like, yeah, but our GDP sucks. Like, look at what we're actually producing. I live out in Las Vegas. No one wants to fucking come here. Between all the immigration stuff, no one wants to fly in from overseas. It's like $30 for a bottle of Dasani at one of the fucking casinos. It's price gouging as hell. It's like no one has money to come here to go on vacation in the first place. So the few people that can afford those prices are people that are well off as it is, to where they could wipe their ass with $100 bill and it means nothing.
I don't know. I never understand that concept of wiping your ass with money. That you know how many paper cuts you get? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, man, money's soft, man. It's like good. It's like a special linen.
No,
ain't too scratchy.
No,
just take a Washington. No, wait. Who's a shitty president that's on a bill? I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter who it's going to be. When you wipe your ass with, it's going to be shitty anyways.
So the thing is, the reason why all that kind of matters is we live in a very individualistic country. If you instill a particular mindset in a large group of people for an extended amount of time, that then becomes their culture. So in America, we're very focused on the self and the immediacy of like our direct family. Anyone outside of those bounds means very little to us, which is why it's like, hey, if I become a millionaire, I want to be able to keep everything that I have. I don't want to be forced to give it to anyone else. And that's kind of like a mindset. And so what you do is you convince people that are not well off to have that mindset. And what that does is it then garners additional consent for people that do have that level of wealth to be able to maintain it. You take someone that's poor their entire life and like, hey, you're going to be a millionaire in like 5 years and you're going to have all this shit. They're not going to want to get rid of that. It's like, hey, I did all this. I earned this. This is mine. No. Screw everybody else. Why am I? There are these laws and these tax loopholes. I mean, I'm going to utilize these to their finest. They're going to take the broken system and fully and 100% adapt to it because they have a justified reason because of their own intrinsic bias to be able to prosper that way. And you get an entire civilization of people thinking with that mindset. It's very, very easy for all of us to become selfish because, yeah, it's nice to say that, oh, when you are poor, the rich should pay. And it's like the mindset is like a direct exchange. I don't think that, hey, here's 5% of my money and I'm going to divvy it out. No. That's the idea of it. I like. If they just said, fuck off with the fucking corporate tax nonsense loopholes, and if these major corporations, literally all they did was just paid their fair share, we'd be much better off. And that's just with the laws on the books. Yeah, so it's like, we need to stop like kind of going back and forth on it and actually like point our fingers at the people that are actually causing harm, because they want us to bicker with one another and try to justify and this, that, and the other, when at the end of the day, they don't want the fingers pointed at them because they're the ones that are the actual problem. And so it's people like Princess Diana that showed us how broken the wheel was.
Yeah. Like I said, I knew where you were going with that when you started and we went on that the spill on that, because that's exactly what she was about with a lot of that stuff. And I 100% agree with that. And the thing is that it's crazy to think, and like I said, I was playing devil's advocate with Ms. D there with the whole, her standpoint and coming back there, because the simple fact is, like I said when I was talking, there is no real simple fix, because you know what? even we start pointing the fingers, like May said, we start pointing the fingers at people, the system, and everything like that. You already know that they've already thought about this, and they've already got contingency plans to kind of shift the goalpost. Goalpost, you know what I'm saying, to move the goalpost, you know what I'm saying, to where now it's drawing our attention to something else. Think about anything else. Think about anything that's going on, you know what I'm saying, right now. Like all this stuff that's going on, and I'm gonna say this real quick: the Epstein files, right? They started bringing that up. Did you notice that how much other stuff came out to try to draw? Oh yeah, Area 51 is real. Oh yeah, UFOs are real. Oh yes, there was a definitely conspiracy to assassinate JFK. Let's release the JFK files, Martin Luther King files. No one asked for any of that. No one. But now all of a sudden you want to release all that stuff to try to draw people's attention away. So I get it. I'm with you. And that's like the whole thing with this the whole thing with Princess Diana is that on the surface, when you talk about the original story, on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward. Okay, driver was intoxicated. All right, we got paparazzis following around, which that was an everyday thing for her, given who she was, and especially what was going on at that time. That was very normal. But there was a lot of things about that was not normal. And we're gonna get to more of that when we come back after this commercial break. We'll be right back with more of the Birdman Show.
Yeah. Drop. Gotcha. How we doing, everybody? This commercial is brought to you by Dubby Energy Drinks. Dubby is an energy drink that you mix at home. Dubby is formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or no crash. So, their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and neurotropics, including the patented neurofactor. There are no calories, no sugars, no fillers, and no artificial colors. So if you need something to give you the energy to take on the world, Dubby is what you need. Go to dubby.gg, that's DUBBY.GG, to get yours today. Hey, as a special bonus to our followers, if you enter the promo code just Birdman Show, you will get 10% off of your first order. Hey, tell them the Birdman sent you. Stop.
What is up, everybody? How you doing? It's your boy, the Birdman from the Birdman Show. You already know what to do. Want you going to do it with us? That is right. We're back. We are on the Birdman Show. I know everybody's like, "Hey, why is Miss D so behind on Miss D? She's lag. We're having a little lag issue, so she's with us, but it's jumping a little bit. Okay, so just don't relax. Okay, she's right there. She's not. There's nothing wrong with her bird. Her bird's fine. But anyway, we're here. We're back. We're doing this fine. We're talking about this bad boy right here. We've been all over the place with this. This has been one of those episodes that I love because it does spark a lot of different conversations. And I think what a lot of people, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna stop that music. I think what a lot of people miss when it comes to stuff like this is that sometimes you have to understand in order to fully understand something or someone or someone's point of view, there are times you're going to get off topic. There are times you're going to, because you got to understand some people's thought process are so vastly different than yours or what you've been dealing with that you don't understand it. So sometimes you have to allow that to happen, because you, number one, will understand them better, but you might actually start understanding what you're missing. I never will ever say that I have all the answers. Never, because I don't. I don't. I'm not a computer. I'm not a program. I don't have the answers. And even as a computer or program, guess what? Somebody has to give me those answers in order for me to be able to give you the answers, right? I don't have those answers. My point of view is my point of view because I can only see what I can see in the world from my point of view. That's why I value people like Mace. That's why I value people like Miss D. That's why I value the people that we have in our audience, because your guys' point of view is amazing. Because I get to see what you see, how you see it, how you view it, how you think. That is one of the most beautiful things in the world that I think we just kind of toss it away. We don't pay attention to it. And I think it's beautiful. I think we're missing the mark on that. That being said, I gotta say what's up to my co-hosts that are joining me on this journey. I gotta say what's up to Mace Val. I gotta say what's up to Miss D. Miss D, let's start with you. I always do ladies first. Miss D, how are you doing? How you holding up so far with what we got going on here?
We're hanging in. Again, I'm barely tonight. Got a lot of stuff going on, but this tends to help me focus a little bit when I have, um, as you know, I can research by FBI, so that gives me a little something to focus on.
Oh, I
But
know.
we're doing
Oh, I
okay.
know.
We're doing all right.
100. Okay, good. Because I know. I'm like, yo, man, hey, man, Cash Patel might need to give you a call, so they can get some other answers that they're not getting right now. Because you probably be able to find those answers. Anyways, Mace Val in the house. What's up, baby? How
Yeah.
you doing?
I'm doing good. I think the first part of the show did a really good job of demonstrating like the heart of Princess Diana and people like her in the
Mhm.
history of our society, civilization.
I agree.
And I'm looking forward to kind of peeling back the curtain a bit and getting into some of the tinfoil hat elements.
Oh, because we're about to do that. Real talk. Remind everybody real quick what we're talking about here. We're doing Birdman Show edition of Conspiracy Theories, the People's Princess accident or assassination. We're talking about Princess Diana. Um, man, which was just a tragic loss, man. Um, I don't care if I don't care if what the public what they said was true or if it's a conspiracy theory. There's more to it. I don't care. Her her passing was a tragic loss for the world. Um, that was an amazing person, and the things that she was doing, trying to do, amazing. And I hate the fact that we lost somebody like that. I mean, that's just I don't know, it's crazy. Okay, so let's start getting into the nitty gritty. Let's start talking about some serious theories when it comes to this. Okay, so now Miss D kind of walked us through pretty much what was given to us. And also, real quick, I got to acknowledge TikTok. TikTok, you guys said, so was that 7.3? 7.3K? Yes.
7.3.
Awesome. Keep up the work. You guys are freaking awesome. Love you guys so very much. I also got to acknowledge, like, on over here on YouTube, I've got to say this, and I'm looking again. No, yeah. Karen, I don't know if you're still in here on YouTube or if you're over on TikTok, but your message didn't even pop up in my studio. I seen it on because I'm glad this is where I have different monitors. I'm watching YouTube and it popped up on there as one of the first comments, and I didn't see it because I always look at the studio. So I do apologize, Karen. I was not trying to ignore you. I apologize. Thank you for joining us. Love you so much, sis. But yeah, I want to do that real quick. Okay, so let's like I said, Miss D, you kind of walked us through the public report of what happened. Okay, so let's not get so public on the report. Let's start talking about some of the reasons why people are having a hard time with this. Because this happened, her passing was, what year was that again? That was 81?
97.
97.
1997.
97. So 97. So this happened in 97. We're in 2025. And there's still a lot of conspiracy theories that are going on today when it comes to this. All right. So let's start getting to let's like Bonnie said, let's put the tinfoil hats on. I should have made one. I thought about doing it. I should have told you guys to make one. My bad. We'll work on that. Next week we'll have the tinfoil hats. Let's start getting into some of this stuff, okay? So Ms. D, what's your first conspiracy theory when it comes to what actually was going on and what actually happened when it came to Princess Diana?
So one of the conspiracy theories is that the royal family wanted her gone because she was in a relationship with, now mind you, this was in 97, so the points were different, but they wanted her gone because she was distancing herself from the royal family and in a relationship with a Muslim man, and what was going to happen if they got together and she had a Muslim child that was now the heirs of the throne's half sibling. Now we know that it wouldn't have affected Mary in any way because her having the child without Charles, there's no line for the throne. We know that, but that was one of the biggest conspiracies, and that she was pregnant at the time of her passing.
Which is, funny because I mean, they're in the autopsy. They never did report anything like that.
Isn't that funny?
So they also tested HCG levels at the scene from blood left behind at the scene. They tested for HCG, and nothing came up. But that was brought up by Muhammad Fayed, Dodi's father, that she was pregnant, but there was nothing to substantiate it.
Well, there was nothing reported to substantiate it. Like, I think we can all kind of agree. I think all three of us can kind of agree, and I'm hoping everybody in the audience can kind of agree. When you're dealing with that level of, what do I want to say? I don't want to put that notoriety, right? When you're dealing with that level, there's a lot that you can kind of maybe bypass, I guess you want to say. And there's a lot that you can kind of get away with. So like I said, without really going into it, because I do want to do an episode, completely separate episode about this Charlie Kirk. There's a lot of things that are bothering me about that, the whole situation. And I've worked security. Monty and I, we served in the military together. And before I came over to the unit, Monty and I met in infantry, and I dealt with a lot of private security with high value people in our government that would come over, and I was part of that. And that detail, even though Charlie Kirk was not a military personnel or something like that, but because of his controversy takes that he had, that detail was horrible. 100% was horrible. And when I first started seeing some of the video footage of it, the raw video footage of it, I was like, that's the first thing I said. That's an inside job. That's before these idiots came out and said, "Oh, it was a 308." That was a 308 round. I'm like, you lying. 100% lying. I shot a 308. He would not. His head would not still be attached to his neck,
Pink mist.
and there was nothing. So first of all, stop the cap. Stop lying. Stop. Just stop. Come up with something else. Come up with something else. 308. Anyways, we're not doing that. Anyways, but yeah. So when it comes to a lot of that stuff, like I get what you're saying, but like it's like, yo, how easy is it that to say, oh yeah, we tested for this, but no, it didn't really happen. Did they show the test? Like, did they show like, hey, this is the results? No, they just came out and said, no, this was the results. So like I said, unless they did come out with that and they show that, yeah, I don't buy it. I don't. Um, so yeah, that Miss D, that one was a good one because the fact that I mean, even though we knew that if she had a baby by old boy, what's his name again? What was his name again?
Dodie Fayette.
There you go, that dude. Even if she had, even if she had a baby by him, it would have made no difference for the freaking crown. But it's the perception. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people like that, the perception makes them think that, hey, well, maybe they don't have control over their their what they're doing. Maybe they don't have the control that they say they have. So maybe now we can test them a little bit. People with power, man. Hey, listen, you honestly have to be a certain way 24/7. You have to be a certain way 24/7. You cannot show weakness. You can't show that any part of your family or anybody you deal with are weak or have any type of, you know what I'm saying, issues that's going to cause a problem. You can't. Because if you do, then somebody's going to look at that and then next thing you know, you're going to have some issues. Now you're going to be like Russia and Ukraine. I'm sorry. Let me go there. Anyways,
We do
you
actually
about to say
have a
something?
comment on TikTok.
What's that?
Alyssa wrote 1993 letter from Diana Klein that she feared that Charles was planning an accident in her car. And yeah, I did read that one as well. She says that's the only thing that her off a bit because she believes that it was an accident. I mean, yeah, I did read that. The letter was actually written in 1983, but yeah, the letter that she wrote to her butler that said that she thinks that Charles is going to tamper with her vehicle to cause an accident or head trauma. That letter was written to the butler in 1983. It took him 10 years in 1993. So we have other notable royals who all died. What was it? The Princess Grace Monaco died in a car accident.
Okay.
There's a couple others too. But again, to use a car accident as a form of assassination, it's just there has to be so many things. I don't think it would be as publicized as it was through the paparazzi. Where something like that would probably be more geared to like a midnight drive on a cliffside somewhere, lose control, lose brakes or whatever. But on the streets of France in the middle of
Well,
an event, I
well,
don't know. I just don't see it.
I think where I have a problem with it is the fact that you're talking about a royal family. Now, we can talk about our government all we want to. Our government doesn't come close to touching what a royal family actually might do. It just doesn't. And we've done a lot of shady stuff over the years. with the government that we have here. And I mean, all the way back to colonial days, we have done a lot of shady things in our history. Still would never come close to what a royal family would actually have done. I am not, I agree with you, Miss D. It's hard to kind of with the car accident thing, but at the same time, what I would like to know, and I don't know, I didn't have it in my research. I don't know if either one of you two have it in your research. The time frame in which the accident happened to when they sit there and said, "Okay, this is what happened with the bodies." Da da da. Who responded and what happened after the response? Because, like what I'm saying, like I hate. I'm sorry to keep going back to it, but like when I look at what happened with Charlie Kirk, there's a lot of things that were inconsistent of what happened that I'm having a tough time with. And a lot of that I'm having that same kind of tough time when it comes to the Princess Diana conversation of what's going on, because the simple fact is the time frame.
The math ain't mathin'.
Exactly. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of inconsistencies that's going on with this that I'm having a problem with, because just like the reports that came out later with JFK, they said that by the time he got to the hospital, he was actually alive. And they were saying that the doctors were trying to revive him, but they were getting instructions from someone not to revive him. So that had been one of those things like, well, maybe she did make it. But once they got her out of there, they said, nah, she don't need to make it out of this one. Like there's so I don't want, like, it may sound like a conspiracy theory, but being in the world that I was in, and I was on a lower level when it came to a lot of the stuff when it came to the military, but some of the stuff I saw on the level I was on has me believing that, number one, when it comes to governments, royal families in this instance, nothing is off limit. There's nothing off limit. If they believe, hey, this is going to be better for us, I don't care about them. It's going to be better for us. Remove them. They will do it. They will find a way to do it. And they have proven ways to do it. Go ahead, Monty.
I like how you guys are measured and reasoned. I'm going to now start
try
to
to be.
introduce some more of the off the wall stuff, like the stuff that will have me institutionalized. Like, let's go wild with it. Let's have some fun. Rest in peace.
I'll come visit you.
So throughout history in Europe, right, the royal families were always intermingling their children, right? And there was a huge emphasis on boys because you wanted to have boys because those were the ones that could hold power.
Right.
It was very a male-dominated seat of power. However, women were vitally necessary because they were the ones that basically dictated the bloodline. So it didn't matter if you had a male as king, you still needed a royal female. You couldn't just have anyone, or to an extent, I guess, nobility, but if they didn't have like the royal bloodline, doesn't matter like how wealthy they became and how much land they owned, their blood was just not in line with what they needed. And this goes into a lot of like the secret society and ritualistic stuff, goes throughout the course of human history, is that anyone that's part of a royal lineage, bloodline absolutely matters. And that's why individuals like Princess Diana were so vital, because at this point in human history, they needed to marry someone in that had blood ties. And that was, over time, it gets harder and harder and harder because these people die off. You can't just like constantly intermingle within the family and interbreed, because we've seen through history where that happens, where you get a bunch of royals that are just mentally fucked. And then it's like, well, we can't have that either. So we got to try to dilute it as much as we can. And even if you look at Princess Diana's like family tree, you go back far enough, I mean, it's like a fucking circle. It's okay. There's been enough distance, that, I guess we could be okay with it.
Or it can be like a sequel to Wrong Turn.
You can use that line of reasoning, historical anecdotes, to then formulate some kind of motive if we are to entertain the idea that this was like a targeted hit. And a lot of the motives that could come from that are, one is like, oh, she knew too much, right? That's the real tinfoil hat one. Like, oh yeah, she knew that they were lizard people eating humans or whatever, that real fantastical stuff. Or it could also be that, hey, being a part of a royal family, not just growing up in it, but then also being introduced to the royal family of a, well, collapsing empire at that point. Yeah, you can see like all the things that go on beyond the curtain, the things that people in the public just aren't privy to. A lot of like, this goes back again to their ritualistic practices. Every little thing that they do is pomp and ceremony, to the point where it's like, yes, some of those things are elevated and televised and showed off to the world, but that's just all part of the plan. They have to showcase their ritual, and then they get the consent of the masses, the love, the admiration. We essentially, and from the religious element, is that we idolize these mortal individuals. We give them a sense of godhood on earth by bowing down before them as they do like these ritualistic ceremonies to the public, whether they be weddings or what have you. And as far as the British Crown is concerned, they have been notoriously racist for all of their history. They're very set in their bloodline, but even beyond that, like this whole Meghan Markle thing, marrying Prince Harry, that was a really big upset. But then again, was it really? Because then there are also threads that Harry wasn't even Charles's kid. You look at pictures of them, and yeah, William looks more like his dad, but Harry, where'd that red hair come from? So there's a lot of
milkman.
There's a lot of strings and tethers to pull on, just outside of like the given narrative that we're given.
Right.
Like, yes, like there's official reports that are put out, but like, how are we to know if they're true or not? They can deceive us, they can lie to us, but if we just well, that's the official report that was given, I guess that's it, then we've garnered consent to the lie. And we've accepted the deception as truth, ignoring any of the red flags, any of the strings that kind of make us go, oh, wait, what's going on with that?
No, I agree. And the thing is that that's the norm when it comes to a lot of stuff, when it comes to what we do and what we think about. Like a lot of times we just accept what's being put out there. And I think that's always been my problem. It's always been my problem. Is people say this is and I'm gonna say it like this. Okay, I'm gonna put it like this. Okay, when I think about Black culture, okay, I think about Black culture. There's been so many things that have been said, to our Black youth, when it comes to a lot of things, like, and that's just like, oh, this is how it's always been. Like, wait a minute. What, can you explain it to me? No, I just you just gotta take my word. No, I don't want to take your word for it. First of all, we're not even close in age. What you might have gone through and everything. I get what you've gone through and everything like that, but that may not be what's going on now. And I think a lot of times, especially now, is like if you remember newscasters, right? You remember the news, the newspaper. It carried so much weight back in the day. So much weight. Like when they said it's on the news, those newscasters that was putting news out, they were a lot of the older ones, they would not put out any BS because they knew that, hey, America's watching me. They trust me. I got to put out the truth, and they weren't putting out any kind of BS. Now over time that changed, and we see what's happening now. That has changed, and so we get more garbage than we actually get news. We get more people on there that are catering to certain people versus actually telling what the truth is. And then when you get people that tell the truth, the first thing that anybody wants to do, and this is a military tactic, is the first thing you want to do is you want to discredit anybody who's actually telling the truth. You want to label them maybe as a conspiracy theorist. You want to label them as, oh, they're crazy, or they're just they may be just a traitor to the American people. They don't know what they're talking about. You want to defame that person and discredit that person so that way nobody wants to take what they're saying seriously. And that's 100% a military tactic that's been utilized for centuries, not decades, not years, centuries. Defame the person who's trying to bring the truth. And the thing is that I love America, but at the same time, y'all really piss me off because a lot of y'all will buy anything. Y'all will seriously just sit there and take anything that somebody's saying as heart, as Bible. And I'm saying that as an ironic thing because I'm saying this to you. But what I'm saying is, no, for real though. Like sometimes we'll just take that as Bible because well they're on TV. They're what they're saying has some truth in it. But you know what? A good lie has truth. A good lie, the best lies have truth in it. So I think my biggest problem with a lot of this stuff especially when it comes to the hey Flo, how you doing? I just seen you popped in. How you doing? But I think a lot of my problem when it comes to this, when it comes to the Princess Diana, I think there's been so many lies that it's hard to. I'm just gonna say it, Ms. D. I'm just gonna say it's hard for me to trust people when it comes to stuff like this. It's hard. You want to, but it's hard because we've been lied to so many times over the years, decades, whatever. We've been lied to so many times that how can we really tell what the truth is? We talk about conspiracy theories, but we could be talking about a conspiracy theory that is 100% true. But because we don't really know what the actual truth is, we may not even know we're actually telling the truth. We be like, hey, this is our opinion. I mean, I hope that makes sense. It's just like who can you trust anymore? My problem. Okay, I'm gonna tell like this. I'm gonna put it like this. One of the things that really bothered me. I'm gonna read this out. One of the things that really bothered me when it came to this whole thing was there was a fascinating piece of physical evidence that was found. Okay, investigators found paint particles from a wrecked Mercedes that matched the white Fiat. Was that Fiat Uno? And they also located the white Fiat Uno in a Paris garage that was owned by a photographer named I'm not saying his name. Nope. We're gonna call him LVT. We're gonna call him LVT because I am not pronouncing that. But they found it. They found the owner. The car had been freshly repainted. Okay. And then the owner was questioned but never charged. Conspiracy theorists suggest that this car was used to force the Mercedes into the pillar, a classic intelligence service tactic. Basically a pit maneuver. Intelligence agencies use it, police officers use it. Where it was hit, where it was on, where it showed the marks on Princess Diana's car, the car they were in, match up 100%. But yet and still, nothing happened from it. How can you? I'm asking you both. How can you trust somebody when evidence is showing you one thing? Now, we've all seen movies, right? Where they say, you've seen those detective movies, right? And you got the good ones. They say, hey, you got to follow the evidence. Where the evidence takes you, that's where you go. But when the evidence is taking you somewhere, but the people that are supposed to be following it are telling you something else, where does your mind go to? I'm gonna start with you, Miss D. Where does your mind go to hearing that? And I saw you shaking your head. Yes, you were nodding your head. Yes, because that was part of your. I'm assuming that's part of your information you had. When you start hearing something like that, and then you're sitting there like we're trying to come up with this, like, wait a minute, but they found the paint that matched. Like, how is this not even? Where does your mind go to?
So another one of the theories was that the driver was an MI6 operative, which is, now in the 10-year investigation of all of this put on by Mohammed Fayad, they did admit that the driver, I can't remember his name, that was intoxicated could have been a low-level informant for MI6, but we don't know anything about the paparazzi photographer in that Fiat and what connections there could have been there. Um, now, and it does throw a different spin on things. And again, this is back in 97 when even our intelligence programs, were denying existence of certain groups who's, I mean, it was a worldwide thing that, intelligence persons weren't people that you knew. So they're going to cover it up as much as they can. So they'll give you enough of the truth to satisfy what they think will, uh, what they think the general public wants, but then they use that to cover up the actual facts. So yes, I did read about the fiat, and that's why I said it kind of ties in. Do I think, again, we know my stance. I don't think it was used as a plot. Do I think the accident was staged to happen? Of course I do. But there are other parts to it too. Like Princess Diana wasn't wearing her seatbelt, which caused the pulmonary artery to rupture, which was the actual death in the autopsy. But that's the other thing too. It's something virtually impossible to diagnose on scene. It's very, very difficult to find it. You add in the 90 minutes it took from her getting into the accident to going to the hospital. But in 97, in France, normal thing. There's so much. There's too many gears for me. And we don't know which one is the truth. You know.
No, yeah, 100%. And I think was it on TikTok? I think it was Flo that might have said that. I'm trying to keep track because when you're talking, I try to keep track of TikTok. So that way you can just focus on giving us what your information is. And I think Flo has said they tell us the truth in movies because they have to tell us, but play it off as an awesome storytelling. There's a lot of movies that came out.
Oh, think of it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, that's a particular topic I love. There was like an hour-long video I did on Avatar and the hidden narrative behind it, right? Just as like a framework for how they do these things. So to bring up something just contextually so people can understand, the 9/11 movies. Not long after the event of 9/11, within 5 years, we had multiple movies coming out about this event. Now, it's like for such a tragic, like hit us hard and it affected and changed all of American life. Why? Why so quickly? And that is to resubmit and put into our minds and to further garner our continued consent for a lot of the things that happened after 9/11. Like, oh, this is what happened. Look, remember, this happened not too long ago. Look. So yes, from one way, it's a way for them to do the whole karmic justice thing. They have to be in line. They have to inform the masses of their intent. And one of the ways they do that is through media. But at the same time, media is also a weapon to kind of indoctrinate and brainwash and guide the sheep within a particular direction. So through a lot of film and television, they use that as a way to guide us towards believing the things that they want us to believe.
Yeah, I think my problem with a lot of that or all of it, I think we were fed a load of crap when it came to that. I just 100% believe that, especially given what I saw when I was in Iraq, Afghanistan, and things I was told to do. None of it lined up with what they were saying that we were there for. And it just, I have such a problem with it. And I have a problem with it because I lost friends. I lost soldiers I trained. I lost people who, for me, were more family than my blood family. And I have a problem with that because you're talking about men who their children, they will never see their father again, or women that their children will never see their mothers again. And for what? What was actually proven? What was actually proven for us being there? And I have a problem with it. Do I love my country? Yes, 100% I do. 100% I do. Will I fight for my country even now, and given my physical state? Yes, I would, because I still believe in the people that are here. Do I believe in my government majority of the time? No, I don't, because they're not looking out for you. They're not looking out for me. They're looking out for themselves. But I still look out for the people that are here. And I would always answer the call for that. I answer the call for the people. I don't answer the call for the government. Screw the government when it comes to that. I don't care about them. Until they actually start showing and proving that they actually care for the people and the policies line up with that, I don't care about them. But for y'all, I will 100%. If they said, "Hey, we need somebody to fight," hey, I got it. I ain't gonna move as fast as I was moving, but you put me on a nice little hill with a 50 cal sniper rifle. I got your back. Don't worry about that. I'll knock some people out for you. Don't worry about that. But it pains me because I don't sleep at night sometimes because of the memories, the nightmares and everything. I don't. And that pains me because there's people that didn't make it back. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've said this to Dez, there's times that I don't understand why I made it back. I don't.
You could also point out that Princess Diana surrounded her, or had connections and tried to surround herself with people that were of a similar mindset, people that didn't like the way the establishment was, constantly turning the war machine. Like Michael Jackson, for example. And we all know how he was publicly put through the ringer so much. And, she had a great relationship.
I'm going to stop you right there because I'm not going to stop you. I'm just going to interrupt real quick. We are definitely, after some of the stuff that I just found out, we are definitely doing an episode on Michael Jackson. Ooh.
He was another very polarizing figure that was very anti-war, that was anti a lot of the things that came from it. And like someone mentioned earlier, Princess Diana being a big advocate against the war machine. And it's one of those things where she ruffled the feathers of the powers that be. And obviously what's most important about her is her bloodline, and having sired the children that she did, she's no longer of use. So push come to shove, it's very easy for them to get rid of her, especially if she's going to in any way taint the royal image, because that's one thing that they're very, very obsessed with, is maintaining a public image. They don't want, look at this whole what is the Prince Andrew stuff going on. And they tried for a long time just keeping the Epstein stuff quiet, keeping it quiet. But the more and more and more of it that comes out, they eventually have to do something about it. They don't look, they clearly know all the stuff that he's gotten into. That family is well enough connected, and they keep very close eyes onto every single member of the family that goes off and does anything, because they need to be able to make sure that they can stay ahead of the curve if push comes to shove, and and shift narratives the way that they can in their favor. So with Prince Andrew just being a disaster from multiple fronts, they did the whole let's just ignore it and act like it's nothing, like the stupidest, oh, well, that couldn't have been me because I had a medical condition at the time where I just couldn't sweat. what? Like, what is this nonsense? And it's like,
What?
instead of the family going, yeah, that's not tracking, we don't want nothing to do with him. Like, if you're going to behave like this, the royal family will have no ties. But that also makes them look bad. The fact that there could be a royal family member that is in any way, shape, or form connected to these things. So they just keep it quiet until it becomes too loud, until the public is like, yo, whoa, this, we're not dropping this. What's going on? And then you get enough emails coming out, you get enough people discussing it that are also in positions of power that they're now in hot water. There's too many people in the spider web connections that are affected to where finally they're like, yeah, we're going to remove your titles. Like, we're now going to start distancing ourselves from you. Because if we hold on and act like nothing's going on any longer, it's going to keep putting eyes back on us. So we got to cut our losses, before it gets any worse. And it feels like
Kind
it
of
could
funny
be
that you
very
brought up.
similar. Oh, yeah, go for it.
It's funny that you brought up the Michael Jackson scenario. Diana and Michael Jackson were actually very close friends. That was in the same circle with Elton John, Sarah Ferguson, who was another royal ousted. But so many of them were in the same circles. And like I said, Michael Jackson and Diana were very close friends. And then you mentioned Marilyn Monroe earlier. Marilyn Monroe and Elton John had a very, very close friendship.
Maybe we
Yeah, there's
start looking
so
at
many
Elton John,
ties
man. Well,
between,
why he's still around?
and he was knighted.
Yeah. Is he an agent? What's going on here? I'm just playing. I'm playing. I'm just saying, it's conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories. Please don't freaking try to cancel us. Conspiracy theories. I'm just saying. Oh my God, people, you got me nervous over here. No, I agree 100%. That's the thing about this though. There's so much that goes on and goes into this that, like, we still don't know. Like, we still don't know. Like, I mean, you realize, you do realize that when it comes to this, isn't it still classified as unsolved?
No, it was classified as I'm trying to remember the exact words. They pinned the fault on the driver, but it took 10 years of investigation, report, and discovery finding for them to come up with a solution that satisfied Fayette.
Yeah, satisfied. But the fact that
Mhm.
they're pinning on the driver, even though when I just talked about the whole evidence of the paint particles that were found and got it traced back to an actual car that had just been recently repainted, it's kind of hard to pin that on the driver. Like, I understand, and I know you telling us, all you're doing is telling us what the actual came out with all that, but it's kind of hard to sit there and say, okay, how can I pin this on the driver if there is something that ties what happened to this to something outside of what the driver was doing. So you sit there and say the driver was.
The paparazzi also were blamed.
Yes, I
Let
remember
me
that.
let me see what. But hold on one second, because I
No, you're
can.
good. You're good.
All right, we're giving her a minute to look that up. Let's talk about the lizard people, right? So now the thing is, with her bloodline and her being important, whatever, this ties back into the possible bloodline connections of the Rothschilds through the lineage of her mother, right? Now, notoriously, Queen Elizabeth was not a fan of the Rothschilds. Whenever they would come to visit, she would keep them distant, off in a separate wing because of religious affiliations, biases and whatever. The royal family is notoriously racist, but they're also very ritualistic. They gotta, despite the things that they may not like, if they have to coincide with one of their enemies, they're going to, because the whole bloodline thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find it?
I will say this before
Shiloh
Miss D does that.
actually wrote it.
Yeah, because whoever said something after Itzy got filtered.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Okay, so you got it. Yes, no.
She said Shiloh had written it. I believe it's the final verdict, the final 2008
Yeah, Shiloh.
verdict of unlawful.
As soon as
Oh.
I found it, I saw it come up.
So 2008 verdict, unlawful killing, is defined. Full summary: the deaths were caused by a grossly negligent actions of the intoxicated driver and a pack of pursuing paparazzi. So my question is this: okay, now Matt, now let's okay, we're gonna dive in. Let's dive in. My question is this: they said the driver was intoxicated. Okay, were they going off of blood samples or were they just going off of smell?
They did do a blood alcohol level, which was point something. I don't remember the exact number,
Totally
but
soft.
I mean it was pretty hefty.
So okay, so then my question is now, okay, so we have to really ask this question, and we're getting, I mean, we're getting kind of close. We're getting about kind of close to time. He's a professional driver. Professional driver. What's going on to where he's drinking?
So, according to what I read, and we know how that goes,
Yeah.
he was not the scheduled. They called off the car they were going to have, and they hired a car that he was driving.
Really?
Again, I don't know the logistics of it. Amber just asked, could it be that his drink was spiked? Plus, some people thought that he was a informant. What put him in that position? What put him in that position to take on this assignment if their original car was called off? Don't know. There really was no dive into that. We lost Tim.
He'll be around. So I think
Yeah.
so we've done the beginning, the middle, and now getting towards the end, like Tim was mentioning. I think that with a lot of these weird, wacko conspiracy things, it's very easy to get off on the woods of arguing the details or whatever. But hindsight's 2020. When you look at the aftermath of something, you can kind of start to piece together like things that make a little bit more sense. So, what ramifications came from the event of her death? It's like, oh no, we lost Princess Diana. Therefore, society is going to make these reforms, these changes, so that something like this doesn't happen again. To use Kirk as an example, that kind of was bolstered for a lot of the things that the administration has currently been doing. They're against like the anti-woke stuff, and if we're going to take that event and blame it on like woke ideology, all that's going to do is reinforce that base to follow in line with the given narrative that has been given, and ignoring the fact that Kirk had some like anti-Israel stance before the end, but that stuff is ignored. That stuff is pushed to the side because what's up in the forefront is the violent, aggressive nature of the Democrats. And that is the narrative that is given based upon that event. So to some degree, what is like the fallout and aftermath from Princess Diana's death and how it kind of like gated and pushed society to go a particular path?
That's a tough one.
I apologize because I was having some issues there, having a little internet issues there, so I kind of dropped off there for a second. Did you answer the question that I had originally, or did you guys kind of?
No, she did, and then you left, and then I chimed in when she finished, and then here you are.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, my bad. It has some internet issues. I apologize. I do apologize.
We're all having
But
issues.
I mean, the reason why I was asking that question, and I heard your tail end of yours, is because the fact is that's awful convenient that they changed drivers at the last minute. Like that's just convenient. That just seems convenient to me to change drivers at the last minute. So maybe you were monitoring the driver that you were going to replace, and I think it might have that. Yeah, Itzy said that, hey, well, could it been his drink was spiked? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like my question is like when it comes to a lot of stuff, there's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to this because when you talking about a conspiracy theory, trust me, and I said it at the very beginning. When it comes to governments are bad. Royalty is even worse. And they will do whatever it is. And trust me, no one's really going to question them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if that's the case, could it be possible they honestly actually had something to do with this? Yes, 100%. It's possible. Can we prove it? No, we can't. Am I trying to? Not really. It's a great conversation. I'm trying to live my life, man. I ain't trying to.
With that line of logic,
ends up on a freaking car accident. Go ahead.
Well, with that line of logic, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some really bad tragedy that happened to Prince Andrew, provided more information came out, that kind of pinpointed that certain people knew certain things. It's like, hey, we got to get rid of this guy before he talks.
I think Andrew has probably defamed himself so much in the public eye that nobody was going to believe what he has to say anyway.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, the best way to kind of control the situation is making sure that the people that would say anything or could say anything, they have no credibility.
He did that on his own.
Like, listen, royalty is different than. Well, no, I'm saying yes, but you can feed into somebody like that. That if somebody has like some type of like a drug habit or they're alcoholic or something like that, you can feed into that by supplying it for them. You know what I'm saying? You can feed into, like, if you know they're going to be idiots, they're going to be stupid and do something, feed into it. All you're doing is say, hey, listen, we try to get them help. You know what I'm saying? We tried to talk to them, but it just didn't happen. It is what it is. You can feed into it. But like I said, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, man, there's just so many different, I don't know, bro. Like I don't, like when I sit there and think about this, like, first of all, I hate the fact that an amazing human being was taken from us. And just to think what she could have accomplished if she was able to live out the rest of her life. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was with the royal family or anybody else, whatever the situation was, if she'd been able to live the things that she could have possibly accomplished, man, it's just mind-boggling to me. Because she, like I said it at the beginning, like she's just all from interviews and things I've seen, on TV and all this other stuff. It's like, yo, she just seemed like a really amazing person. Like she literally seemed like a person that we were all sitting here and, like, say we were all like at a Starbucks or something. I'm saying Starbucks, I don't know why. Starbucks, whatever. We're somewhere chilling, and she walked in, and we weren't even paying attention that she walked in, and we're having a great conversation. We're laughing and joking. She seems like the type of person would actually come up and sit down and say, hey, what are you guys talking about? And it would strike up a conversation with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of person she seems like she would be. And it's just crazy to me to think that, because she didn't fall into the mold that they had built, that if this is true, and let's say this is actually true, let's say if she didn't follow that mold they built, and this is actually true, and somebody had something to do with it, then it's sad that that's what the case is. That's what the case is. So I don't know. I will say this though, we're at 14.3K over on TikTok. Out freaking standing. Thank you guys so very much. Okay, so I know, right? We gotta get some closing remarks in here. Okay, so Mace, what are your closing remarks for this episode?
Everything's imaginary. We're all being lied to. It's all a fugazi. It's all French toast because I have to censor myself apparently. Like we all live in a lie. We live in the matrix, not an actual simulated matrix, but the real, tangible, physical reality is all BS. It's real in the sense that it's real. We can touch it. We experience it. But what we are facing is a massive spiritual war. And the sooner that we come to terms with the fact that there is something much greater than us out there, the better that we can come together as a collective and love one another and finally get a real stab at the powers that be that have ruined this paradise of a reality into a polluted wasteland of negativity. Much love to the world.
I like it. I actually like it. That's good. That's great. Miss D.
First off, Monty, I love the pin that you just delivered that with, because that
Right?
within
Good.
the
That's
depths of my soul. As far as like this particular conspiracy theory for this week, I think we just tapped the tip of the iceberg. There's so many ideas that could lead us down several bit holes on the whole thing. We didn't even bring up Camilla, which was also a huge bearing on some of these conspiracies when it comes to Princess Diana. And I'm actually okay with that because that could be an entire series on its own. But I love the fact that we can come together with different ideas and different thought process and have different outcomes with it and still be able to discuss it. And I want to thank you, Tim, for providing that platform. And hopefully we can other people that you don't have to agree all the time. There's a mutual respect. We can discuss those disagreements and still walk away from the conversation knowing something we didn't know before or bolstering our beliefs from before, but still having respect for one another. And that to me is so much more important than the rights and wrongs of whatever theory we are discussing. And just be decent human beings.
That's such an interesting concept.
That's it in a nutshell.
I think my biggest takeaway is the last one. I feel I was the more measured one with the Mandela theory. It's like, oh, there's a rational explanation for it. Still sketchy, but rational. But this time I'm around, it's like flipped, where you guys are a little bit more calm and rational. I'm like, no, she knew about the lizard people. Like, it's a little give and take. I like that. So given that, what's the next one for next week? What topic do you have?
Next week is, I have it written down here, I thought.
Next week you're gonna have fun with it. Next week is Area 51, Roswell,
moon landing.
The moon landing, all things.
Yeah. So if you thought this one was bad, next one's gonna be really bad.
Make sure that you've got your real hats on.
We got thoughts. We got thoughts.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to go by the store. I'll have to go by Walmart and get some more tinfoil. Here's my closing thoughts, and I'm gonna say this. What I love about it is when I look at, and I think back on this episode, and I think about like when we started, how we kind of scrolled off onto a different topic, and we brought it back full circle, then we kind of came back to everything else. I love it because the simple fact is, like what Miss D had hit on too, is the fact that we can have different of opinions. We talk about things, And it's like one of those things, like it's not a big deal. It's like Ms. D had a review where she's, her opinion on that. I had mine, and then Monty comes in and says, "Hey, I see both sides." Da, 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 da. And it's like one of those things, like, yeah, okay, cool. Okay, now as we're bringing this back, and then we kind of just went back. That's what I love, and I think that's what is missed so much when it comes to actually being able to have candid conversations about things. No one is going to have the exact same opinion as you when you're going to have a real conversation. And a conversation is going to really mean something. You're not always going to have the same opinion. It's best to have conversation with people you may have different opinions with, because the simple fact is, if you're of the mind of being open-minded and seeing and being able to really see where other people come from, you'll know. I can sit there and say, well, Miss D, or whether it's Mace, I can sit there and say, hey, so they might have a different opinion. I can hear their opinion. I can hear it. I can listen to it. I can process it. I can rationalize it. And I said, okay, I can kind of see that. Okay. But now if I add their opinion to what I'm thinking, does it match up? Does it, is there something where I can find common ground in their opinion to go along with mine, to where, hey, you know what, maybe now we've just came up with something. I love this fact, I love that fact, this aspect of that, because I feel like we can have those type of conversations. And that's why I love the conspiracy theories one, because you know what? They're all left field. Every last one of them. They're all left field. And so what's the beautiful part about it is that your mind can just run free. It can frolic in the fields of Asgard. You know what I'm saying? Does Asgard have fields? I don't think they have fields. But anyways, I don't know. Asgard has fields. I don't have fields. But anyways, I love it because we can talk about anything, and it's awesome. This was a lot of fun. This is kind of an episode I wouldn't even mind double backing on later, to talk more about it. But like I said, like next week's is going to be, oh my god. Okay, so if I'm going to warn you now, okay, I'm going to warn you now. If you thought we had a squirrel moment tonight, next week's not going to be any better. It's going to be worse. It's going to be way worse, because we're going to be talking about the moon landing, Area 51. What was the other one? Area 51. Roswell. Do you know they have a Roswell in Australia? Yeah.
I did not know that.
You didn't? Oh, I will be talking about that one. I won't be talking about. I will definitely be talking about that one. Yeah, way down under. So yeah, we'll be talking about that one. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much, everybody who was on TikTok that follow us. We're at 15.4K. You guys are phenomenal. Everybody's watching us on YouTube. Bambi, Shiloh. Let me check who else. You had somebody who was watching us too. What didn't you Monty, what was his name?
Oh, someone earlier, but they're gone. Onesies, twosies that just come in. So okay. Probably not even a sub, but okay. Just YouTube's different like that.
Yeah, they are a little bit. But yeah, we had Karen joined us there for a little bit. I think she had to take off. Yes, 100%, Bambi. What the heck are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
I've got my YouTube on my TV. Beyond me, I've got TikTok on my phone, and then I'm in the studio on my computer, so I'm kind of a bit.
Yeah, see, I've got two. Well, normally I would have like all my monitors going, but I had a little issue before the studio. I opened the studio. My main desktop crashed on me, so I had to scramble at the last minute to get things working for the studio. I had to use a whole bunch of other stuff, so I don't have like all my monitors I normally have. So like right now, I just have my both business phones. Like both of them are on TikTok. The iPad I think is on YouTube, and then I got the studio open up on the main monitor right here in front of me. That is pretty much follows YouTube. It follows YouTube, Rumble, and Twitch. Well, I'm not on Twitch. We're not streaming Twitch right now, but it has that capability. So yes, I 100% understand. So yeah, it's a crazy thing. But anyways, we really appreciate everybody for joining us for this crazy ride. We definitely appreciate that. You guys are freaking awesome. You guys have anything else? Last thing you want to say before we get up out of here?
I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to this Wednesday. What are you guys doing on the main show?
So this Wednesday, we're actually talking about Skinwalker Ranch.
Mhm.
The show?
Well, the show, but the ranch itself, like, because people, when you hear Skinwalker Ranch, you hear most people think about the show, which it's fine, it's typical. But there's so many other paranormal activities that happen around there, UFOs, sightings, a whole myriad of things that happens around there that they're not just about skinwalkers. So yeah, it's crazy. So it's one of those ones like I mean, I'm not gonna say it could fit in a conspiracy theory episode, but it's crazy enough it probably could fit in a conspiracy theory episode. But yeah, that's what we're talking about this Wednesday. And then I will do this. I will say this though. I'm out Thursday. If you two are not busy, I will definitely invite both of you to the Thursday recap. To where we can even throw in this episode with the recap. So you guys are definitely invited to that. It's Thursday, Monty, at the same time. If you're not busy, you don't have anything going on, same link, everything will be right back here. So yeah, I would love to be able to recap this because this is just crazy. So yeah, we can definitely do that. So like I said, if you guys are not busy, come on and join the studio. It is what it is. Do you guys have anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
I think that's it, man. I'm just gearing up for the next one. It's gonna be. I'm probably gonna come off as the most unhinged that I ever have. So, but that's part of the fun of it. So
I look forward to it. I've seen you unhinged.
I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, next week was designed to be a lighter, more fun episode. So, go off. I want to.
I don't think it's going to be a lighter episode, but it's going to be what it is. I love it.
Probably not, but it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know, right? Listen, I appreciate you guys. We're going to get up out of here. Like I said, we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We'll be back for the conspiracy theory series next Monday. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the moon landing, Roswell. We're going to be talking about Area 51 here in America and in Australia. And I've got a couple other surprises for you that we're also going to be talking about that I'm not going to bring up to my co-host because I want to see their natural, raw reactions. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll see you guys Monday. Like I said, and like Miss D brought up, don't forget to join us this Wednesday, same time, 6 p.m. Central Time, right here. We're going to be doing Skinwalker Ranch. That's going to be fun. And then, of course, right back Thursday for the recap. So I'm looking forward to it. Love you guys so very much. I'm the Birdman. That's Mace Valor. That's Miss D. This is the Birdman Show. You already know what to do as we get up out of here. Just want you to do it with us. That's right. And we out.
Yo, welcome to the Birdman Show. Let's dive deep. Murder mysteries and tales that make you lose sleep. We re-uncover in the darkness the stories we'll keep. Laughing about the silliness while we leap and we sweep.
Here's to mental health, let's break the chains. Friends talking it out, we got no shame. On the Birdman Show, let the truth unfold. Mysteries and